Hello, Sun and Aquarius. So this lunar cycle is going from Sunday, April 15th to Tuesday, May 15th. And there's a lot to look forward to this year in general. We'll get into this in future lunar cycles, especially this next one, because this year, even though it doesn't begin in this lunar cycle, it actually begins the day after the end of this lunar cycle of May 16th. This year is going to have about 5 months of Mars and Aquarius energy. So what that means for you is an intense boost of energy, motivation forward. You've been feeling over the last couple months especially, it's all building up towards something. You feel like, okay, even though I might have my goals, I might have my vision, I might be moving forward, I might know what ideas I want to bring into reality, what I want to bring into fruition, how to do so. That's all still, whether you've been on that wave or not, it's all building up to this Mars and Aquarius energy when it all reaches a culmination, and also it's a beginning point. So this is really exciting. Again, we'll cover this in future editions of New Moon News, especially this next one. But that's something to look forward to. So yes, that's very awesome, because usually Mars only spends about 6 weeks in any sign. So for it to spend about 5 months, because Mars will be going retrograde, this is a wonderful opportunity for you over the next 6 months. So again, we'll get into that in the future lunar cycles, but this is basically the build up to that time period. Especially, and really for all of us, but especially for you, but really for all of us, because we're coming out of a Mercury retrograde period. Mercury went direct on April 15th, and the shadow period is existing until May 14th, pretty much the entirety of this lunar cycle. And then from there, we're only seeing 9 days when Mercury is going to be in Aries and going to be moving full force forward. So Mercury's in Aries this entire time. It's been in Aries for the entirety of this last lunar cycle. So that energy helps us to see what this Mars and Aquarius energy is going to be all about, because a couple of reasons. First, Mars rules Aries, so the ideas, the inspiration, what you're learning about other people, how they express their selves, and what you're learning about yourself, how you express yourself over the last couple months, and over this lunar cycle, and essentially this last lunar cycle, that's all directly linked to this Mars and Aquarius vision that's coming to you, that huge burst forward. Whether you know what it is or not, that vision is coming to you, and it's going to be very exciting. You're going to have a lot of energy to go towards any goal that you seek and to manifest it, and that's incredible. However, it all comes back to, okay, the self. That's something that Aquarius energy struggles with a little bit. And again, I have Sun in the house of Aquarius. Both my parents are Aquarius. So I find that our house placements impact us psychologically just as much as our natal placements. And so I very much identify as being an Aquarius. And I know what that's like, to be so much an individual and yet to also be focused on the collective at the same time. It's tricky. It's definitely tricky, because on one hand, you are yourself. You are your rebellious, mad scientist, genius, visionary, but on the other hand, we can totally be blind to certain parts of ourselves that only something like Mercury and Aries energy could help us understand about ourselves. So for all the goodness that's coming on later this year, we need to focus on this Mercury and Aries energy and making the most of it. So something to keep in mind, again, Mercury is going to be in the shadow period until May 4th. So are we moving forward during this lunar cycle, and even before May 4th? Yes, we are. It's just not quite moving as quickly forward as we were from March 6th to March 22nd, when Mercury was in Aries for the first time this year, and there was no retrograde period, there was no shadow period, it was just moving straight forward. So this is a good time to look back a little bit and go, okay, from basically the second week to the third week in March, from May 6th to the 22nd, what was I focused on, what was I talking about, what was I learning about, what was I studying, what was I saying, that was allowing me to move forward, that was allowing me to grow, that was allowing me to be in touch with who I am as a person. That's something that's really beautiful with Mercury Aries. Can it be prone to anger, prone to ego-ness, selfishness sometimes? Yes, that's the shadow period. We have to focus on that too. The shadow side, rather. Not to be confused with the shadow period of Mercury going direct, the kind of hangover from Mercury retrograde. But the beautiful side of Mercury Aries is I know myself. I am going to direct the course of my life, and that's really important, because especially as an Aquarius, this is an energy that we naturally affiliate with. It's a fire energy. We're air signs. We like that energy. It feels right. We're able to put that fire energy into focused action by giving it great ideas and whatnot. And it, in turn, and especially with this transit, that's what this energy is offering us. Even with it being in shadow period, it's still offering us this ability to know ourselves to a better degree, cutting through ideas, cutting through theories, being able to see past the material realms, getting past emotions, getting past ideas, being able to just be, and just to be that raw bit of energy, of just motion, of vibration, of just power. So the challenge, of course, especially since Mars and Saturn are in Capricorn during this lunar cycle, the challenge is to not focus too much on power, to not focus too much on what your goals are, because that is a very big temptation during this time. Precisely because there's so much ground to gain during this time. Mars and Saturn are both well placed. Now, I always say there's no such thing as a good or a bad energy, but right, there's no such thing as a good or bad energy. And also, every energy is going to have its beautiful gifts and its challenges. And even an energy that is well placed, such as Saturn in Capricorn, it being in dignity, or Mars in Capricorn, it being in exaltation, these energies are still going to have their challenges. And indeed, because these energies function so well and seen from a lot of, from a certain perspective, the challenge is to make sure we don't focus on that too much, to not get too carried away with, whoa, I made that accomplishment, I'm just going to keep pushing for it. Limitation on our ego is going to be very helpful during this lunar cycle. And that's something that's not really an issue for you as an Aquarius, but considering that all these Capricorn energies are building up to that Mars going into Aquarius energy, and then 2 years from now Saturn going into Aquarius. So where you're feeling this like burgeoning energy shift, it's just about time for you to be able to jet forward when Mars goes into Aquarius. And seen from a broader perspective, about a 30-year cycle, because Saturn takes 30 years to go through a cycle, you're at a place after 28 years of your life, or less if you haven't lived that long, however many years you've lived, you're at the place of like all your visions are coming together now because of this Capricorn energy. That's what's beautiful, is Capricorn comes right before, there we go, Capricorn right here where my right hand is, it comes right before Aquarius in the zodiacal wheel. And so whenever, especially for you as an Aquarius, whenever an energy is in Capricorn, it's building up to when it goes into Aquarius, and then that's a brand new cycle for you. So this is really exciting. It's very fun, but we have to keep in mind that we're not quite there yet. So this is a lunar cycle of building up inspiration, that Mercury and Aries energy, especially from May 4th to May 13th. It's going to be a huge rocket launch forward, and that's very fun, very exciting. But we're not quite, we still need to be a little bit patient until that time period, and even when that time period comes, we need to recognize that this is a process. Wherever the Mercury transit is it important to study? Absolutely, absolutely. It's a crucial part of the process. It's all about how we think, how we communicate, how we understand other people, but we have to keep in mind the broader transits as well. And the broader transits are telling you also to be a little bit patient. Mars and Saturn and Capricorn are like, okay, get all that you need to get done professionally during this time, so when Mars and Aquarius comes by and you're ready to jet off and you're ready to teach and learn better than ever, and you're ready to take your evolution as a human being to the next step, you're going to have the financial ground, you're going to have the professional ground, you're going to have all of your routine, you're going to have your priorities set, so that when that challenge comes of, okay, here's a lot of energy, are you able to channel it productively? Because of time periods like these, you're going to be able to say, yes, I'm ready for all this energy and I'm going to channel it beautifully. Practice makes perfect. So this is a time not so much of channeling all that great energy, but it's more a time of getting ready to channel it. Okay, so patience, perseverance, just endurance. Your time is coming. It's just, this is a Capricorn time, really. Capricorns are the ones who are making great strides forwards. Aquarius time is coming. And so if you do have Capricorn energy in your chart, I do recommend getting a personal reading with me. Feel free to message me through my email, williamharrison@live.com, or message me through my Facebook page, Will Harrison Metaphysician, to check out exactly what's going on. Or if you have other energies or whatever, you don't have to have those particular energies for a reading. But I do recommend, especially if you have those energies, to get a reading. Just try to figure out, okay, what does this mean for me, especially if I have Mercury cap or Venus in cap, something like that. But as a whole, for all Aquarians, that's something to keep in mind. The other thing, there's two other things actually, is we got Venus in Gemini, which is wonderful because starting Tuesday, April 24th, communication with other people is going to lighten up a lot. Right now, Venus is in Taurus. The Sun goes into Taurus Thursday, April 19th, so this month is about patience in a lot of different ways, endurance in a lot of different ways. But it's going to become a lot more fun once Tuesday, April 24th comes around for you specifically. For everyone, but for you specifically, because that Venus and Gemini energy is something that you naturally enjoy. It's air energy. It's a trine. It naturally just goes well with your Sun and Aquarius. Any energies that are of the same element have a nice, they just get each other, you know? And so that Venus and Gemini energy is going to put you in to contact with very interesting people that'll give you a lot of information that will help you to network. You'll be able to help other people network. It's just going to be nice for sharing, informative, and then at other times very fun, laughter filled, and sometimes both at the same time. Very witty, very clever energy. The only challenge here is it goes so well. Just make sure you say what you mean, and make sure you're surrounding yourself with, you're in the social milieu that really allows you to express yourself and to be yourself. That's the irony about Aquarius is, as Aquarians, we are so unique and so ourselves, but we are so able to identify with a group that we can lose ourselves. And if we're identifying with a group that we can't really be ourselves in, then we need to really rethink with the groups that we're associating in. Not saying that they're better or worse. It's not a hierarchical thing. It's just are we allowing ourselves to be ourselves? And if the answer is no, then we need to change that. The last little thing, we'll cover this in future lunar cycles throughout the next 8 years, because that's how long this transit is. Uranus goes into Taurus May 15th, the last day of this lunar cycle. This is really exciting for a lot of reasons for all of us. It's a new shift for Uranus. It's actually going to be very nice because Uranus in Aries, as wonderful as it is, it starts the energy. It's just like Mercury going into Aries. It starts it. It's the spark that gets everything going into motion, but it's a little bit messy. It's a little bit clumsy. It's like the baby learning how to walk. It's like, okay, the baby's walking, but oh, tipping over here now. So now that it goes into Taurus energy, just like when we go into the Taurian parts of our lives in our early, what would that be? I guess late, before you turn 10? I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But when that Taurus energy stabilizes what comes before, makes it more practical, more focused, more endurance. So in a lot of ways, we are stabilizing how to innovate, how to take humanity to the next level, how to take our individual selves to the next level. And this is really a big deal for you because Uranus is one of your ruling planets along with Saturn. So Saturn and Uranus for at least the next 2 years. Saturn will then move into Aquarius. We'll get into that in future times. But for the next 2 years, they're going to be trying each other, Earth energy. So that means wonderful things for you. We'll get into that. But a lot of exciting things are ahead for you. Infinite love.